Here we are on version 1.0 day 1. My goal with this video is to try and discover the new things added in each update. I started by just getting the basics like stone tools and a crafting table, but I knew I'd need a lot more if I wanted to discover the rest of the versions. I decided to go exploring and see if I could find anything, when I stumbled upon a cave that was full of iron. I also wanted to mention that I didn't do this on hardcore because I was afraid that I'd suffocate in a chunk border to death. By the end of day 1 I had a decent amount of food, but nowhere to sleep. It's fine, I'll probably find something. I spent the rest of the night chopping down wood, and on the start of day 2 I tried to find somewhere to build a house. I eventually found a hill by a little lake that I thought looked good for building a house, so I did what any logical person would do. I flattened it. It took quite a while to do, but it was necessary if I wanted to build here. I also started smelting the iron I had gathered so I can make tools and armor. I spent most of the day just flattening out the area and starting work on the house. It was going to be a simple boxy house, but it would keep me safe. By the time it was dark, I'd almost finished the house. Of course, I couldn't actually finish because I ran out of wood and couldn't finish the roof. Just gotta hope it doesn't rain. On day 3, it's back to punching wood because my axe broke. I made another axe and a few other tools, but got really bored of chopping wood, so I went exploring again. I found another cave, but there was a skeleton and I got scared, so I left. I thought I'd just mine some of the coal in the entrance of the cave so the skeleton wouldn't be able to reach me. And I know what you're thinking, it's just a skeleton, it can't be that bad, can it? Well, I've had some traumatic experiences with skeletons and I wanted to be careful around them. I did end up killing the skeletons and used the bones I got to tame a dog. And another dog. But not a third dog, sadly. I had to open up the F3 menu to find my way back to the house, and I was just wondering to myself, why did they need 14 digits after the decimal on the coordinates? Is that necessary? Whatever, it's probably just some nerd stuff I don't understand. Once I got back to the house, I got the dogs in, ate some steak, and took my final sleep of 1.0. Alright, 1.1. I'm not really sure what this version adds, but I'll probably find something. I started the day off by smelting the rest of my iron. I wanted to be able to get full iron armor and tools as soon as possible. I'm only wearing a hat and pants right now. I went out and did some very basic stuff, like getting food and chopping wood. I also remembered that this is the version where boat sucking can be broken really easily, so traveling across water is a nightmare. On day 5, I egg comboed a creeper using my Skyward skills and started to smelt the rest of the iron ore I had on me so I could make an iron pickaxe and mine some gold I saw earlier. I'm not really sure what I'm going to use this on, but I'll find something. Then I found a lava pool and built a portal, but when I tried to light it, I'm still not really sure why it didn't work, and if you know, please leave a comment on it, I'm curious. Oh, and while you're at it, maybe subscribe too? I decided to go back to the surface and get some seeds so I could start making a farm. I only ended up gathering about 20 seeds before starting work though. I spent the rest of day 6 extending the area out, building the farm, and collecting more seeds and water. When I finished, I went inside and slept under the unfinished roof. When I woke up in 1.2, I was suffocating in a well and pretty quickly dying. This is basically what it feels like being woken up on 4 hours of sleep. And then the worst possible thing happened. The game crashed. I tried to open up the game again, but it kept crashing. I thought this would be where the video ends, but I opened version 1.3 and I was happy to see that it was working and not crashing. I started to dig myself out, but instantly got crushed by gravel. When I got out of the wall, I was shocked to see that the land I was building on had basically turned into an amplified world and my house was gone. All that flattening for nothing. Oh yeah, and not to mention I took my dogs with it. I'm very sorry to anyone who got attached to those dogs, including myself. But hey, at least there's a jungle now. I decided to get closer to the jungle and try and explore it. I forgot how difficult these things are to navigate. I kind of just spent the rest of day 7 gathering resources like wool and exploring the new terrain that had formed. I also found this corrupted chunk board that I thought it was pretty cool. There's going to be a lot more chunk borders as this video goes on. I got started right away on day 8. I was fighting off a zombie that had tried to attack me while I was sleeping. I had to kill it with my axe because my sword broke, which I wasn't recording so you'll never see that and know if I'm telling the truth or not. I thought I'd continue exploring and look for some better land to build a new house on that maybe wouldn't get completely destroyed by a mountain. I found some pretty decent land and started chopping the spruce trees around. And I think we can all agree that spruce is the best wood type, right? Right. We can all agree on that. It's only natural that I would build a square house out of the best wood type, and put absolutely no effort or detail into the house whatsoever. On day 9 it was back to deforestation and building. I wanted to start by installing the floor, so that's what I did, for about 5 seconds. And then I ran out of wood, so I spent the rest of the day chopping down more trees. When the sun was going down, I headed back to the house to sleep on the final day of 1.3. When I opened up 1.4, I continued working on the house. I cleared out the rest of the floor and filled it with wood. I spent most of the day just building up the house until I liked the height, and this time I had enough wood to fill in the ceiling and keep me safe. It ain't much, but it gets the job done. Now I just have to light up the inside and maybe add some other stuff. I didn't really do much day 11, just added some more basic resources like furnaces so I could smelt the iron I had. Also, I dug down and found a lava pool, where I tried to build another portal, but yeah, it still didn't work. I'm not sure why, so I thought I'd just wait until a future version where I know it would work. Then I decided to dig straight down because I was bored and dug into a cave spider spawner. Cave spiders have killed me in the past and are actually pretty deadly, so I wanted to break the spawner as soon as possible. And no, I did not almost die, thank you for asking. Remember when I said I didn't do much today? Well, I lied. I found another spawner and got some saddles and some other stuff. Also, I found the rest of the mineshaft and the ravine that I wanted to explore. Diamonds, oh my god, let's go! It was only 4 sadly, which is 1 off from what I wanted. I wanted to get 5 so I could make a diamond sword and a diamond pickaxe, but this'll do. After I got the diamonds, I decided to go back to the surface to sleep. Today I thought I'd use the diamonds I got and make a diamond pickaxe and store the other diamond. Also, you can probably see I have a pair of damaged gold boots in my inventory. I'm gonna keep those for later, you'll see why. Then I decided to go back down to the portal I built and break it with the diamond pickaxe I made. Then I got bored of that and made some ladders so I could get down to the mineshaft easier. When I was done and it was night, I went to sleep on the last day of 1.4. Here we are, version 1.5. Also, sorry if the footage looks a little choppy. My computer was running really slowly while recording this. I also discovered that wherever your cursor is when you leave your inventory is where your character will be facing, which I find to be really annoying, but whatever. Then I went back down to the lava pool from earlier to mine some more obsidian. I wanted to make a proper portal a little closer to my house. When I finished building it, I tried to light it, and this time, it worked. As soon as I got into the nether, there was a fortress, which was very convenient. So I gathered some blocks, jumped into the fortress, and started exploring it. There's a spawner. I'm just gonna get some blaze rods now and do the pearls later. Yeah, about that. I did eventually end up finding my stuff. I think I lost my helmet, but that's fine, I can make another one. I spent the rest of day 13 and into day 14 getting the rest of the rods that I needed. I'm only getting 6 because it's taking too long and I'm getting bored. When I got home, I went back into the mines to continue exploring. I've never actually seen this foggy effect before, but now I'm wishing they didn't remove it. It's actually really cool. I didn't die again. What are you talking about? I'm actually really surprised I was able to find my stuff. I was very far into the mine, so I thought I wouldn't be able to find it. I went back up to the surface to start smelting some of the ores I had, and then went to sleep on the 14th night. On day 15, I decided to leave camp and go exploring again. I wanted to see if I could find any chunk borders or anything interesting. I ended up finding a jungle. I'm not really sure if this was the one near spawn or a different one, but either way I'm gonna explore it. I got bored of the jungle and thought I'd boat through the swamp that I found and continue going this way. I kept going until I ran into a desert, and along with it, a desert village. So I did what any sane person would do when they find a village. I robbed it. I didn't get all that much from the village, so I took the crops and left. When I got home, I killed about 100 mobs before I was able to sleep, but I ended up killing all the mobs and taking the final rest on 1.5. On the dawn of 16th, I started by killing some creepers, and then started work on another farm with crops I collected from the village. I was able to set up a stable wheat, potato, and carrot farm. I'm not really sure why, but I spent a lot of the day just doing nothing. Absolutely nothing. I think I was waiting for nightfall so I could kill Enderman, but I'm not too sure. Then I went to the nether to do more nothing for the rest of the day. Also, I killed a ghast. It was pretty cool. I went back to the overworld to wait for night so I could kill more Endermen. It took me a while to find an Enderman, but when I did, he didn't drop a pearl, which was extremely annoying. However, the second Enderman did drop a pearl, while the third sadly didn't. On day 17, I went back into the mines and what is that? It turns out I found the stronghold without even trying to look for it, which was actually really convenient. Then I found one of the best stronghold chests I've ever seen. I didn't even know you could get 3 diamonds out of one of these. I was having some struggles navigating the stronghold because of chunk borders and caves obstructing it. I spent the rest of day 17 and into day 18 digging around and looking for the portal room. I was finding some skeletons and they started fighting each other, which I thought was pretty cool. I also found out where the skeletons keep coming from. This is like the 3rd or 4th spawner I've found. Maybe I should make an XP farm of some sort. Also, this is what's in the chest for anyone who's wondering. I also found another crazy stronghold chest with 2 more diamonds and another pearl. I wasn't able to find the portal room, so I dug back to the surface and went to sleep on the dusk of 18th. When I tried to open this world in 1.7, it crashed similarly to how it did in 1.2, so I'm on 1.8. Sorry for the inconvenience. Also, there was no sound for some reason, I don't know why. There's the sound. Also, here's a clip of me failing a parkour jump. Apparently I was trying to get a flint for a flint and steel to light the portal again. I can't find the footage where the portal got unlit, and I can't imagine how that's even possible. Now that the portal's lit, I went through and still don't remember what happened. I also don't remember why there's another portal. Whatever, I'll figure it out, maybe. I ended up going back to the house to make new iron tools and armor because my old ones were breaking. I don't have the footage, but I went back and collected some obsidian, so I could use that, the diamonds I had, and a book to make an enchanting table. Very nice. Now I just need to get a ton of bookshelves to make it a full enchanting table. I was able to get some bookshelves, but I couldn't make it a full one yet. I decided to go out exploring so I could look for cows. I needed leather, and this is the only way I could think of to get it. After traveling across the chunk border ravine, I found a meadow and started killing some cows. There were a lot of cows around, so I was able to get a pretty decent amount of leather. Once I got out with all the leather I wanted, it was pitch black, so I went to sleep. On day 21, I went to get more wood to make more bookshelves. Also, apparently I'm just now getting that achievement. I'm not cheating, I swear. They just update achievements weirdly, I don't know. While chopping wood, I remembered that I actually found a library in the stronghold. and that I'm probably wasting my time with this. So I went down into the mines to try and find the stronghold again. I did find the stronghold, but I searched for like 10 minutes and just could not find the library. So I went back to the surface to get more bookshelves manually. After gathering sugarcane, I was only able to make 2 more bookshelves, which is fine. I'll get more later. Then I went to bed on the last day of 1.8. Here we are, 1.9, the least controversial update Minecraft has ever had. I did pretty much nothing for the first half of the day. I just continued making bookshelves. I also thought I'd take the diamonds I got and make an axe and a sword. I went back into the mines and to the stronghold, and this time I was able to find the library. So I spent a little while just gathering books. That's all I did for most of the day. I also spent a lot of time mining coal and exploring more, but I didn't really find anything. On day 23, I remember this is the version where shields were added, so I made one knowing that I'd probably need it later. After getting a little more wood, I was able to craft some more bookshelves. I discovered that I was able to get fire aspect too, but I would need a few more levels. So I went to the nether and mined quartz for a little while. I mined quartz until I got to 30 levels and headed back to the portal. When I got back, I enchanted my sword with fire aspect too. It didn't come with anything else, but that's fine. The next day, I went towards the ocean and thought I'd explore this direction. Oh yeah, I also noticed that boats were fixed in this version, so that's nice. I went until I found land, and the land I found was icy land, and ice and boats go very well together. I found an igloo and thought I'd explore it. I also thought I'd cure the zombie villager that was down in the igloo. After doing what was needed to cure the villager, I just waited for a bit to see if anything would happen. I went out to explore, and when I came back the villager was cured, but I didn't get an achievement for it. The trades were also not any cheaper, which kind of upset me, so I killed both of the villagers. It was night by now, so I went to sleep on the final day of 1.9. 1.10. I'm not really sure what this version adds, but according to the changelogs, it adds polar bears, so that's cool. It's also convenient because I'm in an icy biome. After exploring for a bit, I got bored and thought I'd travel back to my base. I really didn't do much of anything this day, and when I got back, it was completely dark. However, on day 26, I made the executive decision to move base. I started by gathering all the bookshelves and slowly took the stuff from the house that I wanted to keep. I went a few hundred blocks in the nether and built a new portal, and when I went through, I went to bed knowing that there were probably hundreds of skeletons ready to kill me, and I didn't want to die thousands of blocks away from spawn. After exploring for a while, I found a mountain and decided to chop some trees that were around for a potential house in the future. I ended up finding a plains biome and thought I'd build a temporary house here because this isn't really the type of land I want to build around or the type of house I want to build. Also, I'm cutting a lot of stuff out from this version because there's a lot of me just running around doing almost nothing. I had to settle with a 2-block high roof because I was getting really low on wood, and I'd rather have a low roof than no roof. By the time I was done lighting up the house and putting basic stuff in it, it was night, so I went to sleep. On day 28, I'm back on the move. Since I was so far out, I wanted to find a different stronghold, since I wasn't able to find the portal room in the first stronghold. And that's pretty much all I did for the rest of the day, but I was pretty close to finding it. As you can tell, I was very happy with my fire aspect sword. Even though it's not the best enchantment, it made getting food 100 times easier. I was getting very close to finding the stronghold. The eyes started to go in the opposite direction than what I was traveling in. After thinking I had found it, I dug down hoping to dig into the stronghold. Sadly, I ended up digging into bedrock and had to continue searching. I then used a strategy that I got from Curryway where you find the 4 on the X and 4 on the Z in a certain chunk and dig down. You should end up in the stronghold if it's the right chunk. Of course, the first chunk I was in wasn't the right chunk, so I dug through a few more and found it. Sadly, the chests in the stronghold weren't as broken as the other stronghold, but I was able to find the portal room in this one. 1, 2, and that's all the eyes I have right now, but I'll get more eventually. After exploring the stronghold for a bit longer, I dug myself up and went to sleep on the last night of 1.11. When I woke up in 1.12, I instantly got 4 advancements by just having the stuff in my inventory. For anyone that doesn't know, in 1.12 they replaced the old achievement system with advancements, so sorry to anyone who grinded out achievements in 1.11 and has to do it again. Today I went back down into the stronghold and found another chest with another pearl in it, which was really convenient because it's 1 less pearl I needed to go out and get. I went back to the surface and found this really huge cave opening. This should be a huge cave, right? Nope, it ended right here. I literally cut out half a second of footage of me running to the end of this cave. Oh yeah, this is also the version that different colored beds were added. I decided to make this pillar near my camp so that if I went exploring and forgot where I was, I could find this. Nice. I also decided to tame a horse so I could get around easier. It was kind of a pain to get the horse back, but I was able to. Also, I'm pretty uncreative and bad at coming up with names for animals, so I didn't end up naming the horse. Then I built a pen for the horse because I didn't have a lead and didn't want him just leaving when I didn't know. I spent the rest of the day in the stronghold and hunting endermen, but the footage got corrupted, sadly. Then I went spelunking, in hopes that I'd maybe find some more diamonds or something else, but I couldn't find anything. I went back to the camp and used the pearls I got to make some eyes of ender, and now I only need 5 more eyes to finish the portal. After continuing to try and find stuff in the caves and in the stronghold, I didn't find anything and went to sleep. Here we are. Wait. Minecraft 1.15? So this is pretty embarrassing, but while I was recording something else for my channel, I accidentally opened the 1.12 version of this world on 1.17. So it crashed when I tried to open it on 1.13 or 1.14. But 1.15 works. The only thing this means is that I'll be playing 9 days on this version instead of 3 like I would with any other version. I also decided that once I got to 1.18, I'm going to play 9 days on that version too, because 1.2 and 1.7 didn't work. Wait, when were llamas added into the game? 1.9? 1.11? I don't know. I spotted one of the new ocean chunks then. Dolphins! I started to run into a lot of chunk borders, which means this is all new terrain, so that's cool. I didn't find much while exploring, so I went back into the stronghold and into a cave that I found. And, yeah. While trying to pick up my stuff, something was using my own sword and did 6 hearts of damage on 1 hit, and the bird damage was too much. When I went back down again, I was able to find everything off, and got most of my stuff back. Then I found this cool looking lava thing and took a screenshot of it. Not even close. Apparently one of the things that I lost was my blaze powder, so I had to go back into the nether. When I found the fortress and the spawner, it was completely covered in lava, which made it very annoying to fight blazes. I still suck at fighting blazes, I always have. Even with the diamond sword, I'm getting really low. I did end up getting all the blaze rods. Even though it looked like 2 seconds, it took like 30 minutes to do this. The blazes just weren't dropping their rods. That sounded a lot better in my head. I was only barely able to find the portal. My pickaxe was about to break. Today I'm back at the camp and I thought I'd start work on a house. But first I would need to chop most of the trees around me, not only for wood, but so that I would have enough room for a house. And now here's a time lapse of the leaves decaying. The time lapse is over. I got bored and decided to share the rest of the leaves by myself. Now that that's done, I'm going to start building the house. And this time I'm actually going to try. It's not going to be a box like the past few times. Since my building skills were rusty and I wanted the house to look at least decent, I spent almost the rest of 1.15 building it and making it look good. Now that I have a general shape built, I want to start filling in the walls. This and the flooring are going to be the easier parts. There's not a whole lot of exciting footage, so I'm probably just going to skim through it until the house is done. I think the hardest part about this house was building the roof. The whole shape of the house was really awkward, so it was difficult to do. I had a few hiccups while building the house, and had to rebuild or add some parts, but it ended up working out. And now here's a time lapse of me building the roof. Since certain sides of the house were on different elevations, it was hard to connect it all up. I pretty much spent all of 1.15 cleaning up scaffolding and getting ender pearls. I was getting pretty bad drop rates, but that's fine because it's a lot easier to get ender pearls in 1.16. I only ended up getting 1, so I put it in the portal, went back to the surface, and went to sleep on the final night of 1.15. Here we are, 1.16. I started by doing a reality check or whatever this is. Still not sure what this is, but okay. As expected, I immediately went to the nether to try and find the new terrain. Aha! That's the biome I'm looking for. It's the one that spawns a bunch of endermen. I wasn't really sure if I needed 4 or 5 pearls, but I got 5 just to be safe. I was having a lot of trouble finding the portal for some reason. I did end up finding the portal. It took a little while, but that's alright. I stored the Eyes of Ender because I didn't want to lose them, but I also didn't want to fight the dragon just yet. Before I fight the dragon, I'm gonna need some better gear. So I'm gonna try and get some diamonds and maybe make some better armor. I think 19's enough. I mainly just wanted to get out of the caves. I spent the rest of day 44 and day 45 just in the caves looking for diamonds, but I think it paid off. I then went to sleep on the final night of 1.16. 1.17, the wannabe 1.18. I decided to use this chest for worn down items that have aided me through this journey. I don't have the footage of me using the gold boots, but I used them in the nether so the piglins would leave me alone. Before I make my armor, I want to make an enchanting table so I can get some easy enchantments. I'm not really sure what happened to my other enchanting table, but I don't have it anymore. And of course with an enchanting table, I needed an enchanting room, so I got straight to work on one. It took about a day and a half, but I ended up finishing it and I think it looks pretty good. I did still have the books that I took from my old house, so I used them to make some bookshelves. I'm not really sure if this is enough or too many bookshelves, but it was about all I had, and it was symmetrical, so I stuck with it. Today is the day I'm gonna fight the dragon, and if I want to do that, I need to enchant my armor. I was able to enchant my helmet with Prot 1, my leggings with Prot 1, my boots with Prot 2, and my chestplate with Prot 2. I was ready to fight the dragon. I decided against making diamond armor because I knew I'd find some in the end cities. I started by shooting down the towers. Fun fact, you can actually shoot the cage towers by aiming right under the cage and barely hitting the crystal. I was getting low on arrows, so I towered up to get a better accuracy. After taking the towers out, I went in with my sword. I think there's only a certain amount of hits you can get before the dragon leaves, but I'm not sure what it is. The Ender Dragon may be the final boss in the game, but Enderman will always be able to do more damage to me. Then the dragon came down for the last time, and I was able to beat the game. I was only able to get to 67 levels, which only slightly infuriated me, but we'll move on. I went back to the overworld for a bit to make some diamond armor and immediately went out to the end islands. I pretty quickly found an end city, but it was pretty small, so I wasn't able to get an elytra. There was some pretty good loot though. At this rate I would be able to get full prop 4 diamond armor by the end of my exploration. I did end up finding another end city, and this time it had a ship. All I had to do to get this elytra was kill one more shulker. I started by looting the 2 chests and... let's go! Of course I got the dragon head, I would never miss it. I used my elytra to glide back to the end gateway, and then went to sleep on the second to last version of this video. Alright, 1.18, the last version. Now at the time of recording this, 1.18 isn't actually out, so I'm playing on a snapshot version of the game. I'm also going to be playing 9 days on this version instead of 3 to make up for 1.2 and 1.7 crashing. Since this is the version where caves are revamped, I obviously started to head in the direction that I haven't traveled in before, in hopes of finding new chunks. It didn't take long for me to find chunk borders, but I wasn't really sure if these were from previous versions like 1.13 or if these were new chunks. Aha! This is definitely new. Ooh, a pillager outpost. I might be able to start a raid if I find a village. Yo, that cave is huge! Whoa, I didn't even know land could generate like this. It's like a plains biome, but all stone and ores. Whoa! I'm gonna have a lot of fun doing this. After searching the caves for a bit, I found a spawner, and the loot was pretty good, I have to say. Golden apple, music discs, iron, pretty good. Then I found some glow squids that I tried to help to safety, but it wasn't working out. Can we get an F in the chat for the glow squids? I then found a smaller cave system and decided to collect some deep slate. I wanted to get about 2 stacks of all the new blocks to bring them back home in case I wasn't able to find any of them later. Oh! I'll take it, I guess. For some reason I remember hearing that veins of diamonds in 1.18 were less, like 1 to 3, but I just got a 5 vein, so I'm not complaining. Now that I had the deep slate, I wondered whatever this is. I don't actually remember what it's called, but I'm getting it. I also wanted some of the dripstone blocks, and I spent the rest of day 50 and into day 51 looking for it. But for now I have copper. I went back to the surface to the pillager outpost and was able to find a pillager captain and kill it. This would allow me to trigger a raid if I ever found a village. I found another cave and spotted some of the dripstone, so I got 2 stacks of the blocks and 2 stacks of the pointed dripstone. After that I kept traveling on the surface in hopes of finding some new mountains, but I ran into a savannah and into a village, forgetting that I had bad omen. The first wave was pretty easy. It was just pillagers that did barely any damage to me because of my diamond armor. Wave 2 was more difficult though. It spawned a ravager, and even with full prot diamond armor, ravagers can do a lot of damage. Wave 3 was pretty easy too. It just spawned a bunch of witches and more pillagers. Also, one of the witches accidentally splashed me with regen, so that helped. It was wave 4 when things started to get a lot more difficult. It spawned ravagers, evokers, and the vindicators. Vindicators being the main thing I was after. When killed, vindicators drop totems when dying. And even though I'm not in hardcore, it would be very nice to have a few just in case. The raid continued to day 53, and it was getting more difficult. I had to stop to eat quite a few times before I could continue fighting. I thought I was pretty much dead here, but I was able to escape and eat. I ended up having to run away a lot, and I ran quite far away from the village. It was mainly the ravagers that were killing me. Even after I killed the ravager, there was still quite a lot of mobs left in the raid. After I completed the raid, I got the hero of the village advancement and the effect. The effect was pretty useless for me because I didn't have any plans on using villagers anytime soon. All of my armor and tools were really low on durability except for my leggings because they had mending, so I wanted to be careful not to break my armor. I wanted to head home, but on the way I found an amethyst geoda and took 2 stacks of each block from it. I was actually surprised that I was able to get 2 stacks of amethyst blocks, calcite, and smooth basalt. I was expecting there to be less of each block. I actually had quite a bit of trouble getting out of this cave because my pickaxe was about to break and I had no sticks to make another pickaxe. Luckily, I had some bamboo that I collected earlier, and a little fun fact, you can actually use 2 bamboo to make a stick, so I can make a pickaxe and get out. After I got out, I stood and watched the sunrise of day 55, one of the last days of this journey. I was pretty far out, so I was happy to see a ruined portal so I could never travel back to my base. It took me pretty much the rest of day 55, but I was able to get back home. On day 56, I started by immediately fixing up all my armor and renaming it. For anyone who plays Terraria, you'll get the reference on the armor name. The final thing I wanted to do in this video is collect 1 block or item that was added in every version, except 1.1 and 1.15. Since I don't think any blocks were added in 1.1, and there was no way I was going to look for a beehive and mess with bees. One of the blocks I wanted was purple for 1.9, but I actually ended up finding a fully fleshed out end city with a ship, so I got a second elytra. That was nice. I spent the rest of the day gathering blocks, and these are all the ones that I got. Now that I had all the blocks that I wanted, I headed back to my old base. It took a while of searching, but I eventually found the terrain of the original nether I was in. When I got home, I got the challenge advancement for traveling over 7,000 blocks in the overworld through the nether, which I thought was pretty neat since I've already been here. It's been a while since I've slept in this house. It feels good. This is it, the final day. The reason why I came back here is because I wanted to place the blocks that I collected on the original mountain that I built my house on back in 1.1. There was a lot of new terrain that I'd spawned, so I didn't have high hopes of finding the same mountain I built on, but I continued looking. I had to travel past the jungle a bit, but I did end up finding the mountain. Here's a before and after picture of the bay in 1.1 when it was freshly generated in 1.18. What interested me about this was the fact that so much new land could generate and things like trees could generate on old land. Next I took the time to clear out a space and place all the blocks I wanted to place. While waiting for the sunset, I gathered all my blocks and got ready to place them. After I had all the blocks placed, I placed my bed and went to sleep on the final night of 1.18.